In just 35 seconds, $2.8 million in classified payments. Kash Patel didn't deny it. He didn't deflect, he cracked. Cameras zoomed in. The Senate chamber froze. Twitter exploded with Patel admits everything trending worldwide. What did Cory Booker reveal that made the FBI director confess to lies that could end his career? At exactly 10:47 a.m. on March 15, 2025, Senator Cory Booker walked into room 216 of the Hart Senate office building. Like a prosecutor who had seen too many cover-ups, his briefcase contained 47 pages of classified financial records, phone transcripts, and encrypted email chains that would destroy a career. Morning light filtered through tall windows, casting shadows across the mahogany witness table. Patel sat across the witness table like a man carved from stone, jaw clenched, hands folded, American flag pin gleaming under harsh committee lights. His navy suit was perfectly pressed, tie knotted with military precision, but his eyes betrayed anxiety. Behind him sat 3 FBI legal advisors, faces grim. Neither man knew that in exactly 47 seconds, one would be trending on every social media platform in America. The committee room buzzed with tension. Reporters from major outlets filled the gallery. Cameras were rolling, broadcasting live to millions. Booker's opening words cut through the chamber's tension like a blade. Director Patel, you swore an oath to this committee 3 months ago. Today, we're going to test that. His voice carried the weight of 8 months' investigation, countless sleepless nights poring over financial records, and determination of a prosecutor who had built an airtight case. Patel's knuckles whitened as he gripped his prepared statement. Senator, I stand by every word of my previous testimony. The first line. His voice was steady, but seasoned investigators noticed the slight tremor in his left hand. The way his eyes darted to his legal team before returning to Booker's unwavering stare. Booker didn't smile. He never smiled when he had evidence. Let's start with something simple. Have you ever received payments from foreign entities while serving in government? The question hung in the air like a sword. Committee members leaned forward. Senator Grassley adjusted his glasses. Senator Warren stopped taking notes and fixed her eyes on Patel. Patel's response came too quickly. Absolutely not. My financial disclosures are public record. The scent lie. But Booker had spent months proving that public records could be manipulated, that shell companies could hide truth, and that even FBI directors could be bought. Booker slid a manila envelope across the mahogany table. These are bank records from Deutsche Bank, Berlin branch. Account number 4417789. Your signature. 2.1 million transferred between January 2024 and February 20. The papers made a soft whisper as they crossed the polished wood, but their impact was thunderous. The chamber's silence was deafening. Camera operators leaned in, lenses capturing every micro-expression on Patel's face. C-SPAN's director cut to a close-up as color drained from his cheeks like water from a broken dam. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the room's air conditioning. I've never seen these documents, Patel stammered, his voice cracking for the first time. The third lie. His prepared composure was crumbling. The man who had interrogated terrorists and criminals around the world was being undone by bank records and his own handwriting. Booker opened his second folder with deliberate precision. Director, this is your handwritten note on FBI letterhead, dated February 3rd. It reads, transfer confirmed, coverage maintained, no congressional disclosure required. Is this your handwriting? He held up the document so cameras could capture both evidence and Patel's reaction. Patel's hands began to tremble. That could be anyone's handwriting. The fourth lie. But handwriting experts had already confirmed the match. Document analysis had proven the paper came from Patel's personal FBI stationery. Even the pen ink had been traced to a Mont Blanc found in his office. 23 seconds had passed since Booker's first question. The room held its breath. News producers in the gallery frantically texted their newsrooms. Fox News anchor Brett Baier would later describe this moment as the most devastating 30 seconds in congressional hearing history. MSNBC was already preparing breaking news alerts. Booker leaned forward, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. Director Patel, I'm going to ask you one final question. The American people deserve the truth. Did you accept $2.8 million in undisclosed payments while serving as FBI director? The question was simple, direct, and inescapable. Patel's face went ashen. His carefully composed facade crumbled like a house of cards in a hurricane. He looked around the chamber desperately. Democratic senators stared in stunned silence. Republican senators shifted uncomfortably in their chairs. Gallery reporters held their breath, pens frozen over notebooks. At exactly 35 seconds after Booker's final question, Kash Patel's voice broke, yes. The confession heard around the world. Gasps rippled through the chamber like shock waves. Senator Chuck Grassley's mouth fell open, his pen clattering to the floor. Senator Ted Cruz frantically scribbled notes, his face flushed. The committee chair, Senator Dick Durbin, banged his gavel for order, but the damage was done. Patel had admitted everything. In the gallery, Washington Post reporter Bob Woodward later wrote, I've covered Watergate, Iran-Contra, and every major political scandal of the past 5 decades. I have never witnessed such a complete and immediate collapse of a witness under oath. The moment would be replayed on news channels for weeks, analyzed frame by frame, dissected by legal experts and political commentators. Twitter erupted within minutes. On Patel admits everything shot to #1, trending globally, reaching 12 million tweets in the first hour. Booker exposes corruption, followed with 4.7 million mentions. TikTok videos of the exchange went viral, with young Americans creating reaction videos and memes that spread faster than traditional news coverage. CNN broke into regular programming, with Anderson Cooper calling it a watershed moment in American politics. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow interrupted her evening show preparation to provide live analysis. This isn't just about one corrupt official, she told viewers. This is about the integrity of our intelligence community and congressional oversight. Fox News initially cut their feed during Patel's confession, then returned with Sean Hannity calling for full investigation of these serious allegations while presuming innocence. Tucker Carlson's evening show would later question the timing and political motivations, but even conservative commentators couldn't deny the damning evidence. The financial trail that Booker had uncovered told a stunning story that stretched across 3 continents and 18 months of deception. Deutsche Bank records showed regular transfers from shell company Atlantic Security Consultants, registered in the Cayman Islands with ties to Russian oligarch Viktor Kozlov. Payments had been structured to avoid federal reporting requirements, split into amounts just below $10,000 to evade banking surveillance. Phone records revealed 47 calls between Patel and Kozlov's associates between January 2024 and February 2025. Email exchanges discussed mutually beneficial arrangements and ensuring favorable FBI positions on ongoing investigations. The communications used coded language, but intelligence analysts had cracked the meaning weeks earlier. Most damaging of all was a recorded phone call from February 14, 2025. Exactly 1 month before the hearing, Booker played the audio in the committee room, the speakers crackling with Patel's unmistakable voice. The Senate hearing is next month. They won't find anything. I've buried the paper trail too deep. Booker's fishing expedition will come up empty. The irony was palpable. But Booker had found everything. His investigation had employed forensic accountants, former intelligence officers, and cybersecurity experts. They had traced cryptocurrency transactions, decoded encrypted messages, and identified foreign bank accounts that Patel thought were untraceable. The web of corruption was vast, but Booker's team had mapped every connection. 3 hours after Patel's confession, President Trump's press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders faced a hostile press briefing. "The president has lost confidence in Director Patel," she announced to a room full of shouting reporters. "He will be accepting the director's resignation, effective immediately." The questions came rapid fire, but Sanders deflected them all, clearly unprepared for the magnitude of the scandal. By 6 p.m. Eastern, Patel had submitted his resignation letter, a brief 2-paragraph document that accepted full responsibility for my actions without admitting specific crimes. By 8 p.m., the Department of Justice announced a criminal investigation led by Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. By 10 p.m., Patel's security clearance was revoked, and federal marshals had confiscated his FBI credentials. The next morning, federal agents executed search warrants at Patel's home in Vienna, Virginia, and his FBI office in Washington. They seized computers, phones, financial documents, and a safe containing $47,000 in cash, encrypted USB drives, and what appeared to be classified documents marked Top Secret SCI. Neighbors watched in shock as evidence boxes were loaded into FBI vehicles. The scandal sent shockwaves through Washington's intelligence community. Former CIA Director John Brennan called it the most serious breach of FBI leadership trust in the Bureau's history. Former FBI Director James Comey said the revelations were devastating to the FBI's credibility and mission. Intelligence officials from allied nations began questioning what classified information had been compromised. But the story was far from over. The encrypted USB drives seized from Patel's office contained classified intelligence reports that had been shared with foreign contacts. NSA intercepts revealed that Russian intelligence services had specifically targeted Patel for recruitment 18 months earlier, recognizing his ambition and financial vulnerabilities. The recruitment operation had been more sophisticated than anyone imagined. Most shocking of all, investigators discovered that Patel had been feeding information about ongoing FBI investigations to foreign handlers. Keys involving Russian money laundering, Chinese industrial espionage, and Iranian sanctions violations had all been compromised. Current investigations had to be completely restructured, and several high-profile prosecutions were suddenly in jeopardy. 3 weeks after Booker's devastating hearing, the Senate Intelligence Committee released a preliminary report that sent tremors through the intelligence community. It concluded that Patel's actions represented the most serious intelligence compromise since Robert Hanssen. The report recommended criminal charges for espionage, money laundering, and perjury before Congress. Cory Booker's methodical destruction of Kash Patel became a masterclass in congressional oversight that would be studied in law schools for decades. Legal experts praised his preparation, his restraint, and his devastating use of documentary evidence. Harvard law professor Lawrence Tribe called it a perfect example of how congressional investigations should work when backed by meticulous preparation and ironclad evidence. The hearing had lasted only 47 minutes, but its impact would be felt for years throughout the intelligence community. It demonstrated that no official, regardless of position or political protection, was above the law. It showed that careful investigation and preparation could expose even sophisticated cover-ups. Most importantly, it proved that 35 seconds of truth could unravel months of deception. In his closing statement that day, Senator Booker spoke directly to the cameras with the weight of American democracy on his shoulders. Today we learned that trust, once broken, cannot be easily repaired, but we also learned that truth, no matter how deeply buried, will eventually surface. The American people deserve leaders who honor their oaths, not officials who sell their access to the highest bidder. Kash Patel's fall from FBI director to federal defendant took exactly 35 seconds, but the investigation that brought him down had taken Cory Booker and his staff 8 months of painstaking work. They had followed money trails across 3 continents, interviewed dozens of sources, and built an ironclad case that even Patel couldn't deny. The hearing room that day witnessed more than just a political scandal. It witnessed the power of accountability, the importance of oversight, and the devastating effectiveness of preparation meeting opportunity. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon isn't a badge or subpoena, it's truth, carefully gathered and strategically revealed at precisely the right moment. If this story reveals how quickly corruption can be exposed when investigators do their homework, don't just watch, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, where government accountability gets the spotlight it deserves. Hit the bell notification because the next investigation might involve your representative. What would you do if you had evidence this explosive against a government official? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This dramatized story is inspired by real political dynamics and congressional oversight procedures. All dialogue and specific incidents are fictionalized for educational and commentary purposes. This content explores themes of accountability, corruption, and democratic oversight, without intending to defame any real individuals.